Radical Candor by Kim Scott. Introduction. Imagine stepping into a workplace where every conversation is open, feedback is both honest and compassionate, and relationships are built on mutual respect and trust. This is the essence of Radical Candor, a transformative book by Kim Scott that redefines leadership and communication in the modern workplace. Drawing from her extensive experience as an executive at tech giants like Google and Apple, Kim Scott provides a roadmap for creating environments where employees feel valued and empowered to perform at their best. Radical Candor centers on the idea that the most effective leaders combine personal care with direct challenge. This delicate balance fosters a culture where feedback is not feared but embraced, enabling continuous personal and professional growth. While this summary offers a detailed exploration of the book's core concepts, immersing yourself in the full text will provide a richer, more nuanced understanding. So, let's embark on this journey together to enhance your leadership skills and cultivate a more open and productive workplace. Chapter 1. Building Relationships. From the outset, Kim Scott emphasizes that strong, genuine relationships are the foundation of effective leadership. Radical Candor is built on two primary dimensions: caring personally and challenging directly. These dimensions form a framework that helps leaders navigate the complexities of workplace interactions. Caring personally involves showing genuine interest in your team members as individuals, not just as employees. It means understanding their aspirations, strengths, weaknesses, and personal circumstances. When you care personally, you build trust, which is essential for open and honest communication. Challenging directly means providing clear, candid feedback aimed at helping your team members grow and improve. It requires the courage to address difficult issues head-on, without sugarcoating or avoiding uncomfortable conversations. Key takeaway: to foster radical candor, start by investing time in getting to know your team members on a personal level. Show empathy, listen actively, and express genuine concern for their well-being. This foundation of trust makes it easier to provide honest feedback that is both supportive and constructive. Practical example. Imagine you notice that a team member, Alex, has been missing deadlines. Instead of immediately reprimanding Alex, you decide to have a one-on-one conversation. You ask about Alex's workload, any personal challenges, and how you can support them better. Through this discussion, you discover that Alex is overwhelmed with multiple projects and struggling to prioritize tasks. Together, you create a plan to redistribute some responsibilities and provide additional resources, helping Alex improve both performance and job satisfaction. Chapter 2. Getting, Giving, and Encouraging Feedback. Feedback is a critical component of growth, yet many workplaces struggle with effective feedback mechanisms. Kim Scott outlines strategies to ensure feedback is a regular, welcomed part of everyday interactions. Receiving feedback. Leaders must be open to receiving feedback from their team members. This requires humility and a willingness to listen without becoming defensive. By modeling receptiveness, you encourage others to share their thoughts and perspectives honestly. Giving feedback. Effective feedback should be specific, actionable, and delivered with kindness. It's not just about pointing out what's wrong, but also about guiding how to improve. Radical Candor emphasizes the importance of balancing positive reinforcement with constructive criticism. Encouraging feedback. Create an environment where feedback is seen as a normal part of work, not as a rare or dreaded event. Regular feedback loops help identify issues early and promote continuous improvement. Key takeaway: approach feedback with the intent to help, not to criticize. Ensure that it's specific, actionable, and delivered with kindness. Encourage a two-way dialogue where team members feel safe to share their perspectives and suggestions. Practical example. During a project review meeting, instead of saying, "Your report was bad," you could say, "I noticed some areas in your report that could benefit from more data analysis. Let's work together to enhance it." This approach is both honest and supportive, fostering improvement without discouragement. Additionally, you might ask your team, "How can I better support you in your role?" to invite reciprocal feedback. Chapter 3. Understanding what motivates each person on your team. People are motivated by different factors, and understanding these unique drivers is crucial for effective leadership. Kim Scott encourages leaders to delve into what each team member values most, whether it's recognition, professional development, work-life balance, or something else entirely. Identifying motivations. Take the time to learn about your team members' personal and professional goals. This can be achieved through regular one-on-one meetings, informal conversations, and by paying attention to their behavior and feedback. Tailoring your approach. Once you understand what motivates each person, you can tailor your leadership style to align with their motivations. This personalized approach can significantly boost their performance and satisfaction. Key takeaway. Take the time to learn what each person values most, whether it's recognition, professional development, work-life balance, or something else. Tailoring your approach to align with their motivations can significantly boost their performance and satisfaction. Practical example. Suppose you have a team member, Jamie, who thrives on learning and professional growth. You can support Jamie by providing opportunities for training, attending conferences, or assigning projects that stretch their skills. On the other hand, if another team member, Taylor, values work-life balance, you might ensure they have flexible working hours or are not overloaded with tasks, recognizing their efforts in maintaining harmony between work and personal life. Chapter 4. Driving results collaboratively. Achieving results is essential, but how you go about it matters just as much. Kim Scott advocates for a collaborative approach that involves the entire team in goal setting and problem solving. Collaborative goal setting. Involve your team in the process of setting goals and defining success. This inclusivity ensures that everyone understands the objectives and feels a sense of ownership over them. Leveraging diverse perspectives. By encouraging input from all team members, you harness the power of diverse ideas and solutions. This not only leads to better outcomes, but also fosters a sense of collective responsibility. Key takeaway. Encourage team members to take ownership of their work by involving them in the decision-making process. This not only enhances commitment, but also leverages diverse perspectives for better outcomes. Practical example. When initiating a new project, hold a brainstorming session where everyone can contribute their ideas and agree on the project goals together. This collective ownership leads to higher accountability and a stronger drive to achieve the desired results. Additionally, you might assign roles based on each person's strengths, ensuring that everyone is contributing in a way that aligns with their skills and motivations. Chapter 5. Building a culture of candor. Creating a culture where radical candor thrives requires intentional effort and consistent practices. Kim Scott outlines steps to embed this culture within your organization. Led by example. Demonstrate radical candor in your interactions. When leaders model open and honest communication, it sets the tone for the entire team. Establish norms. Create and reinforce norms that support open communication and mutual respect. This might include regular feedback sessions, transparent decision-making processes, and encouraging diverse viewpoints. Sustained effort. Building a culture of candor is not a one-time effort, but requires ongoing commitment. Continuously reinforce the principles of radical candor through policies, practices, and day-to-day interactions. Key takeaway: lead by example. Demonstrate radical candor in your interactions. Encourage others to do the same, and establish norms that support open communication and mutual respect. Practical example: start team meetings with a round of honest feedback, where team members can share both positive observations and constructive suggestions. This sets the tone for transparency and continuous improvement, making candor a natural part of your workplace culture. Additionally, celebrate instances where team members provide honest feedback, reinforcing the value of open communication. Chapter 6: Encouraging a healthy balance between caring and challenging. Balancing empathy with accountability is key to effective leadership. Kim Scott explains how to maintain this equilibrium to foster both personal connections and high performance. Empathy. Showing empathy involves understanding and being sensitive to your team members' feelings and perspectives. It helps build trust and rapport, making team members feel valued and supported. Accountability. Holding team members accountable means setting clear expectations and standards, and ensuring that everyone meets their commitments. It's about pushing for excellence while providing the necessary support to achieve it. Balancing act. The challenge lies in balancing empathy with accountability. Leaders must care about their team members' well-being while also holding them to high standards. This balance ensures that people feel supported and motivated to excel. Key takeaway: show that you care about your team members' well-being while also holding them to high standards. This balance ensures that people feel supported and motivated to excel. Practical example: if a team member, Sam, is underperforming, approach the situation with compassion. Discuss any personal challenges they might be facing and collaboratively develop a plan to help them improve, rather than simply reprimanding them for their shortcomings. This approach not only addresses the performance issue, but also shows that you care about Sam's overall well-being and success. Chapter 7: Navigating difficult conversations. Not all feedback is easy to give or receive. Kim Scott provides strategies for handling tough conversations with grace and effectiveness. Preparation. Before entering a difficult conversation, prepare by clearly understanding the issue, gathering relevant information, and considering the other person's perspective. This preparation helps you approach the conversation with clarity and empathy. Focus on behavior, not the person. It's important to address specific behaviors or actions rather than making it about the person's character. This approach reduces defensiveness and keeps the conversation constructive. Active listening. During the conversation, practice active listening. Show that you're genuinely interested in understanding the other person's viewpoint, and acknowledge their feelings and concerns. Key takeaway: approach difficult conversations with honesty and empathy. Focus on the behavior, not the person, and aim to understand the underlying issues while providing clear, actionable feedback. Practical example: if you need to address a team member's negative attitude, say something like, "I've noticed that you seem disengaged in recent meetings. Is there something bothering you that we can address together?" This opens the door for dialogue and problem-solving without casting blame. By listening actively and working collaboratively, you can identify the root cause and develop a plan to improve the situation. Chapter 8: Leveraging Team Dynamics. Understanding and leveraging the unique dynamics of your team can enhance collaboration and productivity. Kim Scott explores how to recognize and utilize these dynamics effectively. Strengths and weaknesses. Identify the strengths and weaknesses of each team member. This knowledge allows you to assign roles that align with their capabilities and support areas where they need development. Interpersonal relationships. Pay attention to how team members interact with one another. Recognize any conflicts or synergies and address them proactively to maintain a harmonious and productive team environment. Diversity of thought. Embrace the diversity of thought within your team. Encourage different perspectives and ideas, as they can lead to more innovative solutions and better decision-making. Key takeaway: identify the strengths and weaknesses of each team member and how they interact with one another. Use this knowledge to assign roles, mediate conflicts, and foster a cohesive, high-performing team. Practical example: if you have a team member, Riley, who excels at creative thinking but struggles with deadlines, pair them with someone like Morgan, who is detail-oriented and organized. This complementary partnership can lead to more balanced and efficient project outcomes. Additionally, if there's tension between two team members, address it by facilitating a conversation where both can express their viewpoints and work towards a mutual understanding. Chapter 9. Sustaining Radical Candor Over Time. Maintaining a culture of radical candor requires ongoing commitment and adaptation. Kim Scott discusses how to sustain this approach as your team and organization evolve. Continuous reinforcement. Regularly reinforce the principles of radical candor through policies, practices, and daily interactions. This ensures that candor remains a core value rather than a fleeting trend. Feedback loops. Implement continuous feedback loops where team members can openly discuss what's working and what's not. Use this feedback to make necessary adjustments and improvements. Adaptability. As your team and organization grow and change, be willing to adapt your approach to radical candor. Stay attuned to new challenges and opportunities, and be flexible in how you apply the principles. Key takeaway: continuously reinforce the principles of radical candor through regular practices, feedback loops, and by adapting to changes within your team and the broader organizational context. Practical example: implement regular check-ins where team members can openly discuss what's working and what's not in terms of communication and feedback. Use this information to make necessary adjustments and keep the culture of candor alive and thriving. For instance, you might introduce quarterly feedback surveys or hold periodic team retreats focused on improving communication and collaboration. Chapter 10. Integrating Radical Candor into Your Leadership Style. Finally, Kim Scott encourages you to make radical candor a core part of your leadership identity. It's about consistently applying these principles in all aspects of your role. Habitual practice. Make radical candor a habitual part of your interactions, decision-making, and overall approach to guiding your team. Consistency is key to embedding these principles into your leadership style. Personal growth. Continuously work on your own ability to care personally and challenge directly. Seek feedback on your leadership style and strive for continuous improvement. Empowering others. Encourage your team members to adopt radical candor in their interactions with each other. By empowering others to communicate openly and honestly, you create a more resilient and effective team. Key takeaway: embrace radical candor as a fundamental aspect of how you lead, making it a habitual part of your interactions, decision-making, and overall approach to guiding your team. Practical example: when faced with a challenging decision, involve your team in the discussion. Seek their honest opinions and provide clear, candid reasoning behind your choices. For instance, if you're considering a major project shift, present the options to your team, invite feedback, and discuss the potential impacts together. This not only builds trust, but also empowers your team to contribute meaningfully to the organization's success. Expanded insights and practical applications. To further expand on the key concepts of radical candor, let's delve deeper into each aspect with additional examples, scenarios, and actionable strategies that you can implement in your leadership journey. Caring personally. Building deeper connections. Building genuine relationships requires more than surface-level interactions. It involves a sincere interest in your team members' lives, both professionally and personally. Strategies to care personally. 1. Regular one-on-ones. Schedule consistent one-on-one meetings with each team member. Use this time to discuss not only work-related topics, but also their personal interests, challenges, and aspirations. 2. Active listening. Practice active listening by giving your full attention, maintaining eye contact, and responding thoughtfully to what your team members share. 3. Celebrate milestones. Acknowledge and celebrate personal milestones such as birthdays, work anniversaries, or significant achievements. This shows that you value them as individuals. Practical example. Suppose you learn that a team member, Sam, is training for a marathon. You can show support by asking about their training progress, offering flexible work hours to accommodate their schedule, or even organizing a team event to celebrate their achievement upon completing the marathon. Challenging directly. Delivering tough feedback effectively. Challenging directly is about providing clear, honest feedback that helps your team members grow. It requires a balance of honesty and empathy to ensure that feedback is received constructively. Strategies to challenge directly. 1. Be specific. Focus on specific behaviors or actions rather than generalizations. This makes the feedback more actionable and less personal. 2. Timeliness. Provide feedback as close to the event as possible. Timely feedback is more relevant and easier to act upon. 3. Constructive tone. Use a positive and supportive tone to convey your feedback. Avoid blame or harsh criticism. Practical example. If a team member, Jamie, consistently submits reports late, instead of saying, "You're always late with your reports," you could say, "I've noticed that your reports have been submitted past the deadline 3 times this month. Is there something I can do to help you manage your time better or address any obstacles you're facing?" Creating a feedback-rich environment. A feedback-rich environment is one where feedback flows freely in all directions, up, down, and across the organization. This culture fosters continuous improvement and open communication. Strategies to foster a feedback-rich environment. 1. Encourage peer feedback. Promote a culture where team members feel comfortable giving and receiving feedback from their peers, not just from leaders. 2. Normalize feedback conversations. Incorporate feedback into regular meetings and interactions so that it becomes a natural part of the workflow. 3. Provide training. Offer training sessions on how to give and receive feedback effectively. Equip your team with the skills needed to engage in meaningful feedback exchanges. Practical example. Introduce a Feedback Friday where team members are encouraged to share constructive feedback with each other. This can help normalize the practice and make it a regular part of your team's culture. Understanding individual motivations. Personalized leadership. Recognizing that each team member is motivated by different factors allows you to tailor your leadership approach to meet their unique needs and drive their performance. Strategies to understand motivations. 1. Conduct surveys. Use surveys or questionnaires to gather information about what motivates your team members. Ask about their career goals, preferred work styles, and what they find most rewarding. 2. Observe and listen. Pay attention to what excites your team members during meetings or projects. Listen for hints about their interests and passions. 3. Have open conversations. Engage in open conversations where team members can share their motivations and what they need to feel motivated and satisfied at work. Practical example. If you discover that a team member, Taylor, is passionate about sustainability, you might involve them in projects that focus on eco-friendly practices or corporate social responsibility initiatives. This alignment between their personal interests and work can enhance their engagement and performance. Collaborative goal setting, shared vision and ownership. Involving your team in goal setting ensures that everyone is aligned with the organization's objectives and feels a sense of ownership over their contributions. Strategies for collaborative goal setting. 1. Inclusive planning sessions. Hold planning sessions where all team members can contribute their ideas and help define the team's goals. 2. Clear communication. Clearly communicate the overall vision and how each team member's goals align with it. Ensure that everyone understands their role in achieving the bigger picture. 3. Regular check-ins. Schedule regular check-ins to review progress towards goals, address any challenges, and adjust plans as needed. Practical example. When setting quarterly goals, facilitate a workshop where team members brainstorm objectives, discuss priorities, and agree on measurable outcomes. This collaborative approach ensures that everyone is committed to the goals and understands their role in achieving them. Building a culture of candor. Institutionalizing open communication. A culture of candor requires more than just individual efforts. It involves embedding open communication into the very fabric of the organization. Strategies to build a culture of candor. 1. Transparent leadership. Leaders should model transparency by sharing information openly and being honest about challenges and decisions. 2. Safe spaces. Create safe spaces where team members feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and opinions without fear of retribution. 3. Recognition and reward. Recognize and reward behaviors that promote candor, such as honest feedback, open discussions, and collaborative problem-solving. Practical example. Implement a suggestion box, physical or digital, where team members can anonymously share their ideas and concerns. Regularly review and address these suggestions in team meetings, demonstrating that their input is valued and acted upon. Conclusion. Radical Candor by Kim Scott is a transformative guide for anyone looking to enhance their leadership and communication skills. By combining genuine care with directness, you can create a work environment where feedback is not feared but embraced, relationships are strong, and everyone is motivated to perform at their best. While this summary provides a glimpse into the book's powerful concepts, diving into the full text will offer deeper insights and practical tools to implement radical candor effectively in your own life and career. So, go ahead and explore the book further to unlock your potential as a compassionate and effective